All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Austin Davis. In this video, I have a super cool video plan for you guys. We're gonna be talking about chemical application, soft washing, pressure washing, because I know there's a lot of guys getting into the business right now. There's a lot of information that you guys need to learn rather quickly. And I know whenever I first got started 5 years ago, the main part was, what's this deal between pressure washing, soft washing, downstreaming, XJetting, soft wash pump, 12%, 6%, 1%, all these different things that kind of come at you that you need to learn rather quickly and form a thought process together in your head. That way you guys can go out to a project and actually perform the cleaning job, get in there, get paid, get the customer, and so on and so forth. So in this video, I'm hopefully going to bottom line it, streamline this whole thought process for you guys. That way you guys can understand it. And hopefully if you guys got any kind of entertainment or information from this video, do hit the like button, subscribe down below. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, first thing we need to cover is, before we get into the ways of application, is pressure washing and soft washing. What the hell is the difference, okay? So when we talk about soft washing, guys, basically it is exactly what it sounds like. We're not using any high pressure, okay? The only thing we will use high pressure on, like, high pressure that you would actually think in your head. Back when we were kids and we were helping our mom and dad kind of pressure wash the driveway with the wand. Maybe you're a homeowner and you have a power washer, or maybe you've power washed, or maybe you've used a power washer before, okay? What you're thinking about right there is actually pressure washing. That's using high pressure. In the actual business itself, we won't use high pressure unless we're actually cleaning concrete with the surface cleaner. Other than that, everything is soft washing. We clean buildings with soft washing, houses soft washing, roofs get soft washed. So when we talk about soft washing, we're basically using detergents, or we're using bleach, we're using chemicals to do the cleaning for us. High pressure washing would be cleaning driveways, and and we also use chemicals on the driveways, obviously. But when we're talking about soft washing, when you hear the term soft washing, we're talking about spraying chemicals on a given substance or material, right? House, roof, fence, siding, gutters, so on and so forth, okay? So just know when someone says, hey, I'm soft washing, or I plan to soft wash, or you see someone on YouTube say, hey, we're soft washing this, what they're saying is that they are going to spray chemicals using a soft wash technique, which we're gonna go over the different ways of soft washing in this video, and the ways of applying, methods like that using soft washing. They're talking about soft washing stuff. They're talking about applying chemical on a building, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, soft washing versus pressure washing, let's get into the ways of applying these chemicals. But real quick, guys, before we get into the next way of applying chemical, I wanna let you guys know about my 6-figure power washing program, okay? It's an A to Z full blueprint guide and course that teaches you everything that you guys need to know about scaling to a 6-figure run rate. It's everything that I've learned in the last 5 years combined into a 7-hour course, over 70 videos that Sean and I put together. Inside the course, we teach everything from business creation, websites, SEO, getting jobs, talking to customers, reaching out to past customers, going out and seeking new business, talking to commercial, pricing, equipment, actually doing the work itself, the cleaning, and so on and so forth, guys. It's also gonna come with a private Facebook mentorship program where every Wednesday we are going to meet on a live call, go over questions, go over topics, go over different strategies and whatnot. Over 300 people have gone through the program so far since we launched 45 days ago, and it's just been an absolute craziness. A lot of people are saying some really awesome stuff about the program. So if you guys want to get involved in the program, you guys want to learn more about power washing, it's only $29, okay, less than a tank of gas. And the beautiful part is we're actually giving away a pressure washing skid, a $14,000 all clean power wash mini skid, the same person that built my skid right here. We're giving one away on April 15th. And if you guys want a chance to win that power washing skid, all you have to do is be a part of the program. So, get in the program, learn a lot about the power washing business, be a part of the Facebook group. We have a really, really solid community inside the Facebook group. And like I said, guys, have a chance to win a brand new power washing skid. How cool would that be? So without further ado, guys, let's get back to the video. Okay, method number 1, tried and true, old reliable right here. This is a Downstream Injector, okay? Probably the cheapest way to do it, and we're gonna go over the pros and cons of each of these different ways right here. But Downstream Injector, it pretty much, you can either connect it straight to the pump, it'll quick connect right to the outside of your pump, or it can go in between your hose reel and your whip line that goes to your high pressure pump. But basically it has this little barb right here, okay? And so there'll be a line going from this right here all the way to your chem tank. Okay, the cool thing about this is, well, for one, it's really, really cheap. You can get something like this for about 70 to 80 bucks. Very reliable as long as you flush it out. But as you're on the trigger and water is going through the pump, throughout the high pressure line, basically this thing is gonna work as like almost like a siphoning suction. And every time you're on the trigger, it's gonna suck air through here, or whatever this thing is connected to, right? And so in essence, whenever I'm on the trigger, bleach is gonna go from the chem tank through this barb, out my pressure line and out the gun, right? So we are applying chemical that way. So these little guys are great. I use this for about 90% of my cleanings because it's very, very efficient. I don't need to be carrying around any lines or buckets, or I don't have to worry about a separate soft wash hose line. These things are great, but there's pros and cons to it. I would say the pro, it's cheap. If it breaks down, you can easily swap it. It connects to your soft wash pump, so all you gotta do is basically walk your power washer line around the house and start basically washing the house with the Downstream Injector, and basically you're pulling bleach. The downside to this is you're gonna be restricted on the actual percentage that you guys can pull. So this injector, or most injectors, are gonna have a pull rate of about 10-to-1, meaning for every 10 gallons of water that you're coming out of your gun, it's only gonna pull 1 gallon of bleach. So let's say if we have if we're buying bleach at 12.5%, and we have this barb tube going into a full tank of bleach, by the time it goes through the hose, in through the injector, out through the hose, and out the gun and onto the house, it's gonna pull 10-to-1, right? So if we're buying bleach at 12.5, well, 12.5 divided by 10 is 1.25. So by the time the bleach goes all through all the lines and whatnot and ends up on the house, we're gonna have a 1.25% mixture going on the house, which is great because a lot of homes can be cleaned with that. If you got vinyl, hardy board, in some instances, some metal siding can be cleaned with that in some cases, depending on how dirty it is. So vinyl, wood, some stucco, depending on how dirty that is. So this can clean a lot. A 1% solution will clean a lot. The problem is depending on where you live, like here in Texas, I'm cleaning about 80 to 90% of my homes with this, but there's gonna be homes that can't be cleaned with this because it's gonna need something a lot stronger. The max pull rate is about a 10-to-1. So that means, how do we get to a stronger solution? This isn't gonna work. For, if we have brick homes, maybe limestone homes that are just covered in black mold, but it's like encased in the actual stonework, it's not gonna be strong enough to clean that. It's not gonna be able to touch it. So what do, right? So this is why it's very, very important to have multiple different ways of applying chemical. You need to have 2 or 3 different ways. One, you need to have a way to get to a stronger mixture, because there's gonna be plenty of cases where you're gonna need something stronger than what a downstream can get you. And then also, what if this thing goes out on you and you don't have a backup? You don't have something to replace this. Well, then you need something else to come in there and save the day, right? That way you can get back home, order what you need to do, get it all fixed up and get back on the road. So you need something to kind of save your butt whenever you're in the field. So let's go over the next way of chemical application. Okay, when you're brand new, this is something that I used whenever I was first getting started, and this is gonna be an XJet, okay? Really, it's this thing, okay? It actually looks kind of fairly similar to a Downstream Injector, where it's got this barb right here, okay? But notice the difference in these barbs, okay? There's the Downstream Injector. This is the XJet. Okay, lot bigger orifice, which is the gap of the hole right here. So it's able to basically suck in a lot more chemical. And how this will work is you will put this on here. I'm just gonna take this gun for example. You will put the XJet on your gun, whether it's this gun or it's a big long lance gun, however you guys want to use it, it will quick connect on the other end of whatever gun you're using, okay? The other end of this dipstick will go straight into a bleach tank. I recommend some kind of 5-gallon bucket that has a cap on top that you can screw shut and just drill a hole in the top of the bucket and put this dipstick straight in there. Great, so now the dipstick is in the bucket of bleach. You will then carry the bucket of bleach all around the house with you as you're spraying, okay? What this is gonna be able to do for you is this has a pull rate of about 3-to-1. So your XJet will come with a lot of different little fittings in here, which you can actually control for the most part your pull rate, because it'll have different little plastic pieces that'll make this hole bigger or smaller. But if you ran it with no different orifices that you can plug in here, if you just ran it with nothing, the max pull rate is a 3-to-1. So a 3-to-1 is great because if you're using a 12.5% bleach solution and you're putting, you're putting this straight in a bucket of straightened bleach, you're going to be pulling about a 3 to 3.5%. 3.5% can clean almost anything. The only thing a 3.5% almost can't clean is probably roofs, which I've seen some people clean roofs with this thing, but it really just depends on how dirty it is, guys. But this can clean a lot. Pretty much every single house can be cleaned with an XJet. We're talking about 99% of it. If you're gonna give me a limestone house that's got the worst black mold issues I've ever seen, and it needs to be cleaned with a 6%, fine, you got me there. But this little thing right here is perfect. It's I believe it's $170. I'm gonna drop the links for these injectors and the XJets down below in the description. So if you guys want to get it, you guys can go and grab those, and I will get a small commission for it, and I will greatly appreciate it if you guys use my links. But anyway, this is a great thing to do because, fairly inexpensive, and you'll be able to clean everything. And you don't have to go and get a big soft wash system and all that stuff, which is going to cost you guys quite a bit of money and, wherewithal if you guys are going to end up, putting a soft wash system together yourself. I'm talking about a 12-volt system, guys, and we're fixing to get right into it. So downstreaming, perfect, $80 thing. You got to have a downstream injector because this will be probably the most efficient way to do it because you can just plug it right in, one hose, drag it all the way around. You don't have to carry a big bucket and this whole contraption around with you. But hey, if you're just getting started, everyone almost has to XJet because it's fairly inexpensive way to do it. It is a little, I'd say the con is, you got to carry around a bucket everywhere with, hey, it's something you got to do. But other than that, it's a great way to apply chemical. And the most important part is you'll get in there, you'll get the job done, you'll get a Google review, hopefully. You guys will get paid, and then you guys can start reinvesting your money into better and better equipment. And then, you won't have to use this thing anymore. But when we're first getting started, hey, downstreaming, XJetting, this is how everyone starts. It's very inexpensive, and it's a great way to do it. Let's get on to the next way of chemical application. Okay, so 12-volt pump. Now, these are great. I use my 12-volt pump pretty much every time I'm at a job. How a 12-volt pump works is now, instead of downstreaming or XJetting, where we have certain pull rates, the XJet is a max 3-to-1 rate, which is great. Downstreaming, 10-to-1. Great, but these have its limitations and it has its pros and cons, right? When we're talking about a 12-volt pump, we're just talking about a pump that will basically suck whatever that line is going from. So whether it's a batch mix tank or maybe you have it hooked up to a blend manifold system, it's gonna pull whatever it's coming from, right? So let's just say you don't have a blend manifold system. You can batch mix, right? And I have a whole video on batch mixing and how to get to your chemical ratios there. But a 12-volt pump's great because, I can basically choose exactly what I wanna pull. So if I have a roof cleaning job that I need a 6% solution for, I can just go straight up to my 12-volt pump, and if I'm batch mixing, I can just pour 30 gallons of water into my tank, 30 gallons of bleach into that same tank. I now have a 50-50 solution because the bleach was 12.5 and I'm cutting it in half, so now I have a 6% solution. I can just take my 12-volt pump, take the line, put it right in that tank, and turn it on, and now I'm pulling a 6% solution from that. And you guys are gonna need a 12-volt pump. You guys are gonna need some way to manipulate your solutions at some point in time. You guys can get away with the downstreamer and the XJet for a good bit, but as you start getting into more advanced cleanings, you guys are gonna need a way to pull more than a 3.5% strength. You guys are gonna find a way to pull a 5 to 6% rate because these two guys right here can't do it, and these can do a lot, but they're not going to be able to clean roofs. They're not going to be able to clean the dirtiest of dirty limestones and brick houses potentially, not without 2 or 3 applications at least, for sure. So whether you guys are doing it with a 12-volt system, which is just a 12-volt pump that I have, or a gas roof system, which are pretty expensive, like an AR45 or an air diaphragm system, which I don't really pay attention to. I don't really recommend those. You guys are gonna need some way to pull a bigger chemical strength. Now, I would say the pros, obviously, are that you're gonna be able to do anything. if you have a 12-volt pump, there's nothing that you can't clean as far as organics go. And you're going to need to work up to that level fairly quickly. Like, you know, I would say you need to get a hold of a system like this, whether you build it yourself or you buy one, probably within the first 6 months if you guys are taking this seriously and you guys are getting jobs, because you're going to run into a case where you're going to need this and you don't have one. But obviously, yeah, the pros, you're going to be able to clean anything. And then I would say the cons are it has a fairly expensive, in price, I'd say. You know, if you're going to build your own, I don't recommend building your own, guys. I know that's just coming from me, but I'm the kind of guy that likes to pay for something, know that it's gonna work, and know that I don't have to put any kind of thought into it. I hate the headache of, you know, something that could possibly break down on me in the middle of the job. I like buying, you know, the great product that's put together the right way from the right company, and I know that I can trust it and rely on it, and I know it's gonna work for me every single day. So a system like that I'm buying turnkey, that I can plug and play into my truck and trailer and skid, those will probably run you $1,800, probably $1,700, $2,000 for just the batch mix setup, which, you know, is perfect. I recommend the Gen 2 soft wash system from the powerwashstore.com. I'll leave a link to that below. That's the one I started with a couple years ago. It worked great for me, but you can also buy a system, maybe spend a little bit more money, $2,500, $3,000, and buy a 12-volt system that comes with a blend manifold system. Now, the blend manifold system is great because you can just manipulate your percentages right there from the dials, and not even have to worry about pouring water into a certain tank, taking water out, putting bleach in, taking it out, manipulating your solutions and doing math, which is fine, because I recommend actually starting that way, because I think you get a really, really good foundation on how all this stuff works, and you get a really good idea as if this is something you like doing or not, which is like perfect, because if you guys are getting into the business, before you start investing crap loads of money, you should probably figure out if you even like this business or not, right? That's it, guys. Those are the 3 different ways of chemical applications. I know that, you know, I'm not gonna talk about pump up sprayers. Obviously, if you guys are brand new and you guys can't afford an XJet, and, you know, you guys just got your brand new power washer, technically you could put you know, a gallon of water and a gallon of bleach into a pump up sprayer, a 2-gallon pump up sprayer, and, you know, pre-treat or post-treat a driveway, or put some chemical on a house. You can do that for a little bit, but buy a freaking $80 Downstream Injector, buy a $170, $200 XJet system that's gonna come with the whole line and tube and everything, and those are gonna be your best ways of applying chemical. Don't even try to pump up spray a house. You're gonna it's gonna be the worst thing ever. And I know a lot of guys will talk about, you know, big old AR-45 systems and big old gas systems for soft washing. You guys aren't there yet. I'm talking to the guys who are brand new. These are the tried and true core ways of applying chemical: your Downstream Injector, your XJet, and your soft wash system. So hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys got any kind of value from this video, like I said, do hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers this year, which would just be an absolute blessing. So without further ado, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.